Hello, I'm Barbara Sclera of Pigs Are Flying Wealth and Success Coaching, and I want to welcome you to your Intro to Tapping video. So what is tapping, or EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Technique? Well, it's based on the premise that our thoughts and beliefs have a direct effect on our nervous system. It's that mind-body connection. So when we think of a stressful thought, for example, that sends a message through our nervous system right to the primitive part of our brain, the amygdala, which then triggers the stress response, otherwise known as the fight, flight, or freeze response. So cortisol, the main stress hormone, goes coursing through our body, and it has a direct physical effect on us that we've all experienced, right? Heart racing, and your brain actually, the critical, more advanced part of your brain shuts down because the primitive part of the brain is saying, we've only have three choices here that we have to concentrate on right now, which is fighting, fleeing, or freezing. Nothing else matters because we need to get away from this imminent danger. That's what's happening in our body when we think about negative thoughts or beliefs. So what the tapping does is, by using our fingertips and tapping on specific acupressure points that are located on our head, hand, and chest, it actually interrupts the signal that's being sent from the nervous system to the amygdala. It therefore shuts down the stress response, the fight, flight, or freeze response. It's clinically proven to rapidly lower the cortisol levels back down so that you once again have access to the more advanced analytical, critical part of your brain, because you're not feeling that imminent danger any longer, and you can therefore think more clearly, react more clearly, have that time and breathing space to analyze, look at the problem from all sides, and decide what the best way is to move forward. And most importantly, it allows you to let go of that negative emotion, those negative beliefs that aren't serving you. So how do you do it? Well, it's actually quite easy. So there's hundreds, maybe even thousands of videos out there of how to tap, and there are a number of variations on the technique, but this technique I'm going to show you is the easiest, and it absolutely works. So we often start with what's called a setup phrase. So we start by tapping on the karate chop point of our hand, the side of the hand. Doesn't matter which hand you use, and you don't have to tap so hard that it's uncomfortable or hurts, but you don't want to do it so light that you barely feel it. So somewhere in between. The speed doesn't matter. It's whatever speed feels right for you. And the setup phrase starts with tuning into whatever the negative thought or feeling is that we're having that we want to get rid of. So let's say it's anxiety that you're feeling. The first thing you want to do is tune into that anxiety. Notice where it is in your body, what's causing it, and sometimes you don't know what's causing it, and that's okay, but a lot of times you do. So what's causing it, and you want to rate the level of that anxiety. So 10 is going to be really overwhelming, 0 is you don't feel it at all, and then there's everything in between, right? So let's say I'm feeling anxiety at a level of about an 8, so really pretty intense. And my setup phrase is going to be, even though I'm feeling this intense anxiety. So it's even though, and describe whatever you're feeling. And then it's going to be a positive statement, which could be, I love and accept myself anyway. For a lot of people, that's a little too woo-woo or sensitive to say. So you could say, even though I'm feeling this intense anxiety, I'm going to be okay. Or even though I'm feeling this intense anxiety, I'm working on making it better. And you repeat the setup phrase 2 or 3 times, and you can change it around a little bit each time if you want. So even though I feel this ball of anxiety in my stomach and it's making me feel sick, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I'm so stressed out right now because of all this work I have to do, I know I'm going to be okay. So after you say the setup phrase 2 or 3 times while tapping on the side of your hand, you then start tapping on the other points and just say a little reminder phrase to keep you tuned in to what you're tapping about. So the first point is the top of the head, and I use all 5 fingertips and I kind of tap in a bit of a circle just to make sure I get the points up there. And again, you're not tapping so hard that you're giving yourself a headache, but you're tapping it so that you can feel it, and it doesn't matter which hand you use. And you're just saying a reminder phrase. So all this anxiety. Next point is the inside of the eyebrows. You can use 2 hands, you can use 1 hand, you can switch. And reminder phrase, this ball of stress in my stomach that's making me feel sick. And then next point is side of the eyes, kind of just on the bone there. Don't know how I'm going to get all this work done, and I'm so stressed out about it. And then under the eyes, again, on the bone, possibly where the circles are, depending on how hard you've been working. Feel so overwhelmed that I can't even focus on what I need to get done. Next point is between the nose and upper lip and the indentation there, all this anxiety. And then we call it the chin, but it's the indentation between the lower lip and the chin. This ball of stress in my stomach. Next point is the collarbone. So you want to feel down your collarbone to the point where the knobs are, and you kind of feel a little indentation just before the knobs as well. And what I do is just flatten out my fingers so that I'm getting a nice surface area on and around the knobs of the collarbone. And again, 1 hand, 2 hands, doesn't matter. Okay, and tapping on the collarbone, feeling really overwhelmed with all this stress. And then the last point is under the arm. So for women, it's where your underwire of your bra is going to be. For men, it's about 4 inches down from your armpit. All this stress and anxiety. And those are all the points. So then you're back to the top of the head, because you really only have to do the setup phrase on the side of the hand at the very beginning of tapping. Okay, so just keep going with that reminder phrase to keep you tuned in. This ball of stress in my stomach. No, I need to get started, but I'm just feeling so panicky and overwhelmed. All this stress and anxiety. It's making me feel sick. Don't even know where to start. All this stress and anxiety. Really feeling it in my stomach. Really feeling upset and overwhelmed about this. Feeling really sick with everything I need to do. Don't know how on earth I'm going to get it all done. And you just keep going on all the points. So that's top of the head, inside of the eyebrows, outside of the eyes, under the nose, in between the lip and chin, collarbone, and under the arm. It's saying those reminder phrases. And after a few rounds, just take a minute to take a nice deep breath. Just blow it all out, and check back in. So you started at an 8 with that stress and anxiety. Where are you now? Is it still anxiety or stress or whatever that emotion is that you were originally feeling? Has it changed? And has the level come down from where you were? If the level hasn't come down, then just go ahead and keep tapping. Sometimes when it's intense, it really does take a number of rounds to bring it down, but it absolutely will reduce, I promise you. Sometimes it actually changes as we're tapping. So we might start on anger or anxiety, and suddenly all this sadness comes up. And when the emotion changes, that's when you want to go back to the side of the hand and the setup phrase, tune back into that new emotion and rate it. So, I'm feeling all this sadness. It's come up, I'm teary, and I feel like I'm at a 10, right? So even though I'm suddenly feeling all this sadness, I'm going to be okay. Okay, and you just say your setup phrases again, and then just start tapping on all the points again, tuning in, all this sadness behind my eyes. Don't know where this is coming from. Feel so sad all of a sudden. And if you know why you're feeling sad, go ahead and say that, so sad that they always dump all this on me, that they don't consider my feelings or whatever that is. And you just keep tapping through the points until that emotion comes down. And then once the emotion comes down, you want to do just a few rounds of tapping and saying more positive things, right? So, of course, I've had workloads like this before, and I've gotten through them and done a good job. And I know that I'll do it again. I know I'm capable of getting this done. I know it's going to feel so good once I do. And I know how committed I am to doing it well. That sort of thing, so that you end on a positive note. So that's how you tap. It's very easy. For those of you that are coming to this video just after doing the Money Map webinar, well done. You'll see there's another video and tapping script that is going to take you through exactly what you should be saying as you're tapping through the points based on the amazing work that you just did. And for any of you who are interested in doing the Money Map webinar, which uncovers your specific subconscious blocks to your wealth and success, there's a link below that you can click in order to get access to that. Thank you so much and enjoy your tapping.